Now, beloved in the Seventh-day Adventist Church, this is a very urgent message called Let There Be War. Let there be war against apostasy. Now, beloved, in great controversy, a chapter called Persecution in the First Centuries, chapter 3, Sister White says, when it comes to apostasy in the church, let there be war, beloved. Let there be war. On this issue of woman's ordination, woman's commissioning, new theology or sinless theology, teaching that we can't overcome sin, Jesus Christ is not the most holy place to have a sanctuary, the atonement ends on the cross, like what Desmond Ford, Clinton Baldwin, and Heppenstall teach, or Fordite theology. Daniel 8:14, he said to me, under 2,300 days until the sanctuary will be cleansed, is not true. Teaching that the Sabbath is legalism to believe that resting on the Sabbath, not working on the Sabbath is true. All these things that these new theologians are bringing to the church today, and these seminarians are bringing in, beloved, let there be war, Sister White says, in woman's ordination. Let there be war, beloved. We're not to support apostasy. If we see apostasy, beloved, we're to deal with the issue following Matthew 18 with the conference president and brother and another ordained pastor, and go to another conference to support another conference with our tithe and offering to get out of supporting apostasy, beloved, in the Adventist church. We're not to support apostasy if we see it. Let there be war, beloved, in the Adventist church. We see the hypocrisy how they treated David Gates. They're not condemning the apostate ministers for bringing all this new theology in the church, but they're kicking out David Gates, and he tries to bring up revival and reformation. And that's a sad reality, but that's the reality of our church today. Support apostate ministers and kick out true ministers that are bringing in revival and reformation. Don't give Ted Wilson, our General Conference President, a pulpit to speak a straight testimony in the church on revival and reformation. That's the sad reality of the Jesuits in the Adventist church, beloved. And that's the sad reality. Then we have self-supporting medical missionaries saying, oh, don't argue, Lucis. Don't argue on these side issues. Just believe what you need to believe and do your self-supporting publishing ministry. Just get along with the brethren, they say. Get along with the brethren. Don't reprove apostasy, beloved, they say. That's what they say. We are called to give a more pointed testimony than even of John the Baptist, Sister White says, in the Desire of Ages. Then Isaiah 58:1-2 says, sigh and cry until Israel has sinned. Ezekiel 8:9 says that the apostate minister will drop dead under the slaughter of Ezekiel 8:9, and that the ancient men had their backs toward the east, worshiping the sun god. Ezekiel 8:16. That's Jazaniah. These apostate new theologian ministers, beloved, they have their backs toward the east. They're time servers, supporting women's ordination, Sunday sacredness, or Sunday church practices, and new theology within the church. It's an apostasy of latter times. They say, don't preach so hard. Don't be like Micaiah. Don't tell King Ahab that you will not come back in peace, because the Lord has spoken by me. Don't tell him that don't go up to Ramoth Gilead and fight. Don't tell Jehoshaphat not to fight with his apostate brethren, the king of the northern tribes of Israel, King Ahab. And Jehu, they say, Jehu, don't tell King Jehoshaphat that you serve wars because you aided and assisted your brethren, the northern tribes, King Ahab, to fight against Ramoth Gilead, against those apostate nations. Beloved, we're in a modern ecumenical confederacy with the northern tribes of spiritual Israel, fighting with them to support apostasy, beloved, celebration, new theology, fiction, homosexuality, ecumenicalism. We need to give the straight testimony. Time for the straight testimony. Joe Cruz says in his book, Reaping the World, on page 62, chapter called Time for the Straight Testimony. He says, would it not be logical in Satan's long-age tactical ploy to infiltrate the church with uncommitted pastors and unconverted members? Yes, uncommitted pastors. The pastors who will lie and teach the law of God is done away with. Teach that women's ordination is not a salvific issue. That they say that it's not an issue of obedience. Teach that new theology is not salvific. Teach all these things. Celebration or dancing and health reform is not salvific. All these things are salvific, beloved. It's time for the straight testimony, beloved. It's time for the straight testimony. The law of God is salvific. Commandment keeping is salvific. Obedience is salvific, beloved. Not watching television, not watching movies, not playing cards, not eating flesh meats and dairy, not wearing jewelry, not doing worldly pleasure. That's all salvific issues, beloved. It's time for the straight testimony. Now it's time to read the Bible. Now it's time to pray. Now it's time to fast. Now it's time to do aggressive evangelism. Sign folk up for Bible studies. Get books out in the community. Pray with people. Pray for yourself. Go to a nursing home. Talk to an elderly person. That's what it's time to do. Most Congressman Father, please do with your people. Please save them in your kingdom. Without the law, so please let them do aggressive evangelism. Please let them read the Bible in the spirit of prophecy. Please let them overcome sin. Please let them not be deceived by women's ordination, Sunday church, ecumenicalism, and new theology. Please let them give the straight testimony and not be deceived by apostate leaders in the Seventh-day Adventist church. In Jesus Christ's name I pray. Amen. Maranatha, God bless you, beloved.